What's up? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. I have some plants that I picked up while I was out shopping today, and I just want to go ahead and share them with you. And I also have an update for you all at the end of this video, so please keep watching.
It's like glacier, pretty like ray tracing. I've become complacent. Nocturnal operations, my God, it feels.
So today I was out running a few errands, and I went ahead and stopped by one of my favorite plant shops here in the Houston area, and the name of the shop is Floriculture. I have actually been shopping there for a little while now, maybe about 2 years. They have some really good plants. They have a good selection. They have some common plants as well as some more rare plants, and I really like going in their shop. So let me show you what I picked up today. And I hope you can't hear them cutting the grass, but if you can, I can't wait no longer for them to cut it out. So we're gonna roll through it, okay? So here are the plants that I picked up today at Floriculture. Let me go ahead and give you a closer look at what I have. This is a philodendron ring of fire. This is so pretty, and it has some really good variegation on it. I think this leaf is a little new. It's kind of soft. And look at the top of this. This camera really wants to focus on my face. So this is what the top of the plant is looking like. It is very full to the top of this pot. So like I said, this is my ring of fire, and she has some really beautiful variegation on her. She's full to the top with soil, and it's a very aerated soil, looks like. And I'm pretty sure, judging off the top of this pot, she's probably extremely root bound. Well, not extremely, but I'm sure she's pretty root bound and can use a repot, but I'm not going to repot her today. I can tell that this plant wasn't just sitting outside growing, and if it wasn't out there for too long, and it looks like it has some really good soil mix. So I'm going to wait just a little while before I repot this plant, but she is going to get repotted, but not today. And here's the next plant that I picked up while I was at Floriculture. This is a Hoya obovata, and this one's actually variegated. I think this is so beautiful. It has some really good sized leaves. I used to have this plant, and it was really tiny, and I was holding on to it for dear life, but that was a few years ago, before you could probably find them in a basket this size. So I was really happy to find this plant in the store, and I just love these paddle-like leaves. They're so big, and the variegation on here is very beautiful. And this pot is extremely light for this to be this full, so I know it needs to be watered pretty good. So this is my second plant that I picked up from Floriculture today. These leaves are extremely dusty, but I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. I'm going to wipe both of these plants down and get some of these hard water marks off of them, and also make sure there's no pest on these plants. I won't be repotting either one of these plants in this video today. I'm just going to kind of clean off the leaves and make sure that there's no bugs and get them dusted off. So first, I'm going to start cleaning up this ring of fire, and I'm going to go ahead and use a mix that I made myself. It has neem oil, some Dawn dish soap, and just some water. And I have the mixture in this sprayer right here. I've been having this sprayer for a very long time, maybe about 3 or 4 years now. And this is my favorite container to use to make my own mix to clean off my plants. And I'm also going to use this microfiber cloth that I have laying around. It's clean, but it won't be after I finish cleaning up these plants. So let me make sure she's pumped up. And I'm also going to make sure she's shaken up real good. Ooh. It's pretty intense. So these leaves are extremely dusty. And since I'm wiping these plants down with the neem oil mixture, I'm not going to put them in front of any light. I'm actually going to set them off to the side and let them dry off. Because if you use neem oil on your plants and you put them directly into a direct source of light, it can hurt your plant. It can hurt the leaves. They can get burned real easily. So it's best if you're using neem oil or any type of um, spray that has neem oil in it to make sure that you give it a little while to dry. I really like to let them dry overnight before I give them any light. So this is my ring of fire. Can you see how much shinier her leaves are? So the neem oil, of course, is going to make the leaves a little, make them shine a little bit, but it's also going to take care of any pests that are already on the plant, especially the ones that you can't really see too well. So that is my ring of fire. So let's put her off to the side. And for the Hoya, hopefully you can see her a little better now. I had to fix my camera. For some reason, it was not focusing. It wasn't doing its job right. So I had to change one setting to make sure it focused correctly. But here are the leaves. Let me see. And how dusty they are right now. And you'll see after I clean them up with this neem oil mixture how nice it looks. I'm going to go ahead and use this tray that it came in, and I'm just going to try to spray it and then just wipe most of it off, because these leaves, these are a lot of leaves. This thing is so aggressive. Hold up. There we go. And this batch of neem oil doesn't have as much neem oil as I normally would put into my little mixtures that I make myself, which is probably a good thing, so that, if these plants are in front of any type of light, because it is the daytime, I'm not going to be able to keep them 100% away from the sun or any light, but I know that they don't have that much neem oil like I normally like to use. I hate the smell of neem oil, but when I'm using it on my plants, if I don't smell it, I feel like I don't have enough, to be honest with you. And I don't use any like special measuring when I'm making my mix for my plants. I just pour it up until it looks like the consistency that I like. And normally for me, I feel like I have enough I feel like I have enough neem oil in the mixture if I'm using it and can see the plants shining really well. These leaves are so pretty. They're so big. And since I know that I'm not going to be able to get every leaf, I'm going to go ahead and spray again, but I'm just going to lift up the leaves that I've already wiped off to try to catch the ones that are maybe being shadowed by another leaf, especially the ones that are in here closer to the soil, because I'm not going to be able to get in there like that. And also, this is something I normally do at the sink, or I do it outside, because you can make a mess and you don't want to get this oil on your clothes or any furniture or anything like that. Because if you mix it up the way I do, I'm pretty sure it won't be that easy to get the oil out of your clothes. So this is what she's looking like, all cleaned up. Can you see the difference in her leaves? They're not too shiny, but you can see that I got most of the dirt off of them, and they look a little bit more, just a little bit more clean. Still dripping from all of the neem oil spray that I just put on here. So I'm just going to let this sit to the side for a second and dry off just a little bit. Not 100%, but just a little bit. Look at these tendrils. I think that's what you call tendrils on these Hoyas. So they shoot out these tendrils and then they start growing new leaves. So that is so cute. And I have a perfect spot to put this Hoya. She's going to get one of the best seats in the house once I'm done with her. I cannot stand the smell of neem oil. But one thing about neem oil is it is going to work every time. It's going to work every time. So I'm also going to go ahead and water these plants really quickly. I already made a gallon of some nutrient mix. Let me tell you what I have in this pitcher that I'm going to water the plants with. I have this General Hydroponics Maxi Grow. This is something I have been trying out recently with all my plants, and I think I really like this a lot. It hasn't been burning any leaves. It's a little bit stronger than it's a little stronger than some of the nutrients that I normally use. And I thought it would be good to go ahead and incorporate this with watering my plants to give them a little bit of a boost right now since it's a growing season. A lot of my plants are taking off, and I know they need a little bit of extra boost in their feedings. But I'm also still using my other nutrients that I have shared with you all. It's just that I've also incorporated this as well. I just alternate it. I feed my plants every watering. I don't care. So what I do is I just rotate. I'll use this, one round of waterings, and the next time I go around and water my plants, I'll use something that's not as strong as this, but they're always getting nutrients. And I know some people say to only feed your plants every 2 weeks, but I feel like my plants are always growing. So I feel like if your plants are growing, you might as well feed them. I mean, it's not hurting them at all. And the only thing that they can do if they don't need the nutrients is just, not use them, but it's not hurting them. So that's why I just go ahead and always feed my plants. So I have a saucer. That I'm going to go ahead and put this ring of fire in. I think it's a 6-inch saucer, but it really doesn't matter. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and bottom water this plant, especially since it's so, oh shit. Okay, wait. This is a little too full for me to to use it the way I normally do. So I'm just gonna add some water and sit it down without dropping it and making a complete mess. And I'm just going to let it sit here and absorb the water until it's done. And if it absorbs this much water, I'd be pretty shocked, but we'll see. And I also have a saucer that I'm going to use for the Hoya as well. And what I'm going to do with this plant, since it already is trying to dry off, and I don't want to get the neem oil spray all over the place, I'm just going to pour some water in here and just sit it under the plant. Also, this gallon is extremely heavy. But I had to make a new, batch of nutrients because I didn't have any at all already made. So this is how much water I have in the saucer for the Hoya. And she is really, really light. I know she's completely bone dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and water her and let her take up as much water as she like before I go ahead and put her up. The Hoya is going into this Wally Grow planter. I already have the hook that hooks onto the back of this planter on the wall. So once she's finished eating, once she's finished soaking up all the nutrient water that she wants, I'm going to put her in this and I'm going to go ahead and put her on the wall. She's going to go right here. So you may or may not be able to see her in some of my next videos, but I'm for sure in this spot she's going to get a lot of sunlight, and I know in no time she's going to be growing very, very well, and I'm sure that her tendrils and her vines are going to get much, much longer. So it's only a matter of time. I know that Hoyas don't grow that fast, but we'll see. I've seen really good success with Hoyas when I give them highlight and I let them dry out between waterings. They love it the best. I normally do not ever water my Hoyas unless the leaves are starting to look a little wrinkled, or when I touch them and try to like do the little taco method and try to bend them up a little bit. If they're soft, if they're still a little stiff, I know it has enough water. I don't like overwatering my Hoyas at all. So I'll be right back and show you how much water they have taken up before I move them around in the house. So I had to let these plants bottom water overnight because I was noticing that they were not taking they were not taking up any of the water, and for me that's another indication that these plants are either extremely dry or extremely root bound, but I'm not sure because I haven't taken them out of their nursery pots. They could have just been really dry. They were sitting in a store. And for Hoyas, normally you let them dry out completely anyways. So here is the ring of fire. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this plant into an outer pot since I won't be repotting it today. I have this pot from IKEA. I've been having it. So I'm just going to put her in there. And what I like the most about this pot is that it doesn't have a drainage hole, which I really, really love. So let me see why it's not sitting flat. Hold on. And since it doesn't have a drainage hole, I can let this plant continue to bottom water from here on out until I'm able to pot it. So this is what she's looking like in this pot. So beautiful. I really, really love this plant, and I can see that she's pushing out a new leaf. So we're just going to go ahead and leave her alone. And I'm going to sit her on my plant shelf. I do have a spot at the very bottom for her to go, so that's where she'll be. And I mentioned before that I will be putting the Hoya into a Wally Grow planter that will be on my wall. So here it is. It's just a white Wally Grow planter. I will not be planting her directly in here. Play that. It's a lot of work when you have a plant planted directly in these Wally Grow planters. So what I do want to do is leave her saucer with her so I can just water her. The water will trickle through the plant and she can just soak it up she can just soak it up when she's ready. And of course, I'm only going to water this plant when she's dry. But really quickly, okay, let me put her in here first. Let me just see how she looks. So this is what she's looking like in the Wally Grow planter. This looks fire. She is so full and pretty. I want to take this hanger off of her, but I don't know. I might leave it on there for a while until I'm ready to part with it. I wonder if she needs to be sitting up a little higher in this planter. Let me see if I have something I can stick in there to prop her up a little bit. So I went and grabbed some of this bubble wrap that I save whenever I receive packages because I like to reuse it. But I'm just going to go ahead and fold it up. and make her a little palette. So this is what it's looking like after I folded it up. I'm just going to sit it underneath her. Okay, this is what she's looking like with a little extra cushioning on the bottom. Like I said, it's just plastic. She has a saucer separating her between her pot with her water and the plastic in here, so it shouldn't be any problems. She is so pretty. So I'm just going to go ahead and hang her up on the wall. Let me make sure her tendrils are out and flowing. So this is what one of her vines is looking like with her and her Wally Grow. She is so beautiful and so full. So that's how the plants that I picked up at Floriculture turned out. And I think they both look very good, very healthy. And I'm very happy to have them in my collection. So let's move over to some exciting news that I would like to share with you all. I have a restock on the larger sizes of my heavy duty, thick, transparent, clear pots. So let me show you what I have. Here's the size that I'm going to be restocking. This is my 9.5. And I also have the 8.5 back in stock. By the time you see this video, they are back on the website and ready for purchase if you're interested in getting some larger size pots for your plants. So this is the 8-inch. And this is the 9.5-inch. This is a big daddy right here. Look at this. Super, super, super sturdy. I love these pots. And also remember, these pots have the ventilation up the sides. And they have some really good size holes at the bottom of the pot. So these two sizes are restocked on my site. And I also have some new sizes I'm going to be adding to the site in a different style. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm going to be adding to the site. First, I'm going to be adding this 7-inch clear pot. I consider this to be a standard pot. So it's not extremely tall, but it's taller than your normal nursery pot. It's very, very clear. I love this pot. And this is going to be a 7-inch. I already have this style in the 6-inch and the 4-inch. So I'm going to be adding the 7-inch. I will be adding an 8-inch as well. So this is what she looks like. This is going to be a standard clear nursery pot, and that's what it will be called on my website if you're interested in buying this style. So this is this one. And this is what the 7 and the 8-inch look like next to one another. And last, I will be adding this 9.8-inch pot. Now, this is really close to 10 inches, so I might be listing it as a 10-inch pot, to be honest with you. But we'll see. But this will be on the website, and this is going to be a 9.8-inch pot. This baby is humongous. Do you see that? I love this. These just arrived today, and I've never had this size and this style. And when I saw this, I was like, whoa, that's a big pot, right? This is really big. But let me show you what it looks like next to my other 9.5-inch pot, just so you can see the difference if you are interested in getting a bigger size. So this is the 9.5-inch, and this is the 9.8-inch. You can see the 9.5 is much taller than this 9.8, but this one's much bigger, of course. You know what I'm saying? But this one is tall. So these are these two sizes side by side, so you can kind of compare them if you're interested. So what do you think? Which style of pot do you prefer? Do you like the tall, thick, sturdy pot? Or do you like this style? More of a standard nursery pot. Now, don't let the standard in the name of this pot fool you. This is going to be much more sturdy than a regular nursery pot that normally comes with your plants, or the ones that you can find at like your plant nurseries, or when you buy plants at Lowe's or Home Depot. So this is just standard compared to what I carry. Style is very strong as well. It just doesn't have the ventilation on the sides like this one does, and it's not as heavy. Okay, this is amazing. I love this. I really wish I had something that I could put in this size so I can show it to you all, but we'll see. I'm sure I have something here in the, I'm sure I'll have something eventually that I can plant in here so you guys can see this with a plant in it. And you've seen me repot with this style in this size as well. I have both of my Monstera Esqueletos in there. And those are the only ones I can think of right off the top of my head that are in this 9.5 inch pot. So these three are going to be added to the website, and this size, and this 9.5 and 8 inch are going to be restocked. So this is the news that I wanted to share with you all. I have had some questions of people asking when I was going to get some larger sizes. So instead of just restocking the ones that I already carry, I wanted to give you all some options of another style, and this style it'll be less than this one as far as cost goes. So if you want to get more, you can with this style. So let me know what you think, and if you're interested in getting any of these pots, and let me share what other pot I have that will be back in stock as well. So this is another style of pots that I carry on my website. This is my lightweight tall clear pot. It's a nursery pot. It's not round like the other pots. It has an interesting shape to it, but she is tall versus short. And I'm restocking my large size, which is 6 inches. So this is a 6 inch pot, and she will be back on the website as well. Don't sleep on this pot right here because she can hold a lot. You gotta, what I really like about this pot when I'm using it, since it's 6 inches, 6 inches is not that big. But what I really like about tall pots is that, you have all of the space at the bottom for the plant to grow a lot of roots, a lot of healthy roots. The only thing is, you have to decide if you want to display your plant in a clear pot like this, or if you want to try to find a outer pot, like a decorative ceramic pot that you want to put your plant in. And I would like to give you all a tip if you have tall clear pots like this and you're interested in finding some ceramic pots. And sometimes a lot of the pots that I see available at nurseries and your regular plant shops, they're really short. The Hoya is in one. So you see how this pot is really short? This is how your ceramic outer cover pots normally come when you're shopping, right? But what I have found is if you go and look at the utensil holders, the ceramic ones for the kitchen that holds like your spoons and spatulas that you sit next to your stove on the kitchen counter, I have found one of those that is not just one of them, but I find that style is very tall, and I've also noticed that a lot of my smaller pots in this style fit in them perfectly. So if you're at Marshall's or Home Goods or TJ Maxx and you are in the cookware section and you just want to check, you maybe go by there and check out their utensil holders where they have the pots and spoons and everything. You can also use those to hold your tall clear pots if that's something you're interested in. For me, I don't care to have my pots in an outer pot for the most part. I prefer to just have my plants on display in a clear pot. And for me, that's the whole point of having my plants in a clear pot, is so that I can easily see the roots without having to remove them from an outer pot and all of those things. I mean, they are pretty and I love them, but I really like the way my plants look in clear pots. I mean, I just love looking and seeing their roots growing in the soil or in the leca or whatever. And it's just an easy way to check on the health of their roots as well. So that's just me, but I just wanted to share that with you all because I I I bought a new utensil holder on Amazon like last year or a few months back, and I thought it was so, it's white, it's real simple, but it's really tall. And I went and put one of my pots in there. I'm like, this fits perfectly, and it covers up the entire pot. So check that out if that's something you're interested in. And that's all that I have for today's video. I'll see you next time.